everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about the books that I read last week. So I just took the thumbnail. I always try to take the thumbnail for a video before I film it because otherwise I forget. And I put these in this order, and I'm wondering how many of you that is driving insane because I should have done them in size order or something, but I thought this was kind of fun and eclectic. Clearly, eclectic shelves, eclectic book stacks, they're fine with me. It's fine. So if it drove you insane, let me know down below. But today I'm just going to talk about the books that I read last week. So I read 2 middle grade and 3 adult, and I am finding myself not in a slump, but in a situation where I am feeling like I cannot read more than one book at a time. And typically I read one on audio or something with my ears and then one physically. And I'm just not finding the ability to do that. And we'll kind of get into why here in a little bit, but let's just start talking about it. So the 2 middle grades that I read were The Adventures of Nanny Piggins. This is by R.A. Spratt. This is a really cute first book in a series about Nanny Piggins. So this dad has his 2 kids, and he is a very absentee dad, doesn't even want to spend money on an advertisement for a nanny, but he needs help. And so he puts out a sign, and Nanny Piggins, who is a pig, comes and applies for the job. And so he's like, okay, fine, you can be the nanny until I find a human that is more appropriate. And Nanny Piggins is an adult, but she is a kid at heart, and she does not want to, she's like, you have to go to school how often? You have to do this? And they're supposed to go to a museum for something, and she's like, all right, let's see how fast we can run through. And they eat junk food all day and all of that, and it's fun. This definitely gave me a little bit of Mrs. Pigglewiggle vibes, as well as Mrs. Doubtfire. It felt both of Mrs. Doubtfire for sure. Mrs. Pigglewiggle, I don't know why it kind of gave me those vibes, except Piggle, I don't know, but definitely Mrs. Doubtfire vibes with kind of a quirky nanny and all the hijinks they get up to. And like I said, this is a part of a big series. My daughters and I started listening to this on audio, and they weren't super interested, and I'm not sure why. So I ended up finishing it by myself, and I don't think we'll continue on in the series right now, not because I'm not interested, but because they're not really. And so I don't know, maybe she's a flying pig. It was cute. I would recommend it, even if they didn't love it. I think they kind of have struggled with audio lately. We don't do it often, but if we do, it's in the car. And right now they're really into Christmas music. So I think it was just that they didn't want to do that. And then physically, it's almost all words. No, not a lot of pictures. And so I think this was just more than their little brains could handle, because right now we're all in holiday mode. So I would recommend it. Then we've got The House Without a Christmas Tree, and this is by Gail Rock. This is about a girl who lives with her grandma and her father because her dad died when she was a baby, and her dad does not want them to have a Christmas tree. And we don't know why for a lot of the book, but she is just begging and begging and begging, and he is responding very angrily and saying no, he doesn't want one. Well, it comes to the last day of school before Christmas break, and her teacher says, who does not have a Christmas tree at home? Her and another girl raise their hand, and she ends up winning the Christmas tree that I guess was in the class to take home. And so she brings it home. Her dad freaks out, and we're kind of figuring out why this is such a big deal, and what she does then after knowing that it's upsetting to her dad. And I would say this is a cute or sweet story, and it has a really good moral in the end, but it's heartwarming, but the way the kids talk to each other is awful. There's a lot of name calling and stuff, and then the dad actually curses at the child more than once, and it's the D word and HE double hockey sticks and stuff like that. And so it's not awful, but it just didn't feel good to read. And as I was reading out loud, I kind of edited those bits for us. So I don't think I'll keep this off my shelf, because I wouldn't really want my kids to pick it up independently, because there's some character growth, some circling back, but not nearly as much as I would have wanted, given how kind of harsh this book felt at times. So there's that. So now let's talk about the 3 books that I read physically. Or not physically. These are adult books. I didn't read them physically. But the first one is Here One Moment by Leanne Moriarty. And this is a chunky book. I think it's well over 500 pages. No, it's not. It's 500. It's just right at 501, I think. but that includes the acknowledgments. So the story itself is just under 400. But this book is about a event in which there's a plane ride, and there's this older lady on the plane, and she starts walking up and down the aisles and telling everybody what their cause of death is going to be and how old they're going to be when they die. And she's in kind of like a fugue state as she's doing it. So then the book goes on with her story, as well as like 4 or 5 of the other passengers and what they do with that information, how they change their lives, if they change their lives, if they believe it, if they don't, and all of that. And so this premise sounded fascinating to me, but it came off so scary to me. And like, I am 6 weeks postpartum. I have some postpartum anxiety going on, and this was just the wrong book for me at the wrong time. Not that I wasn't entertained by it, but it definitely impacted my mental health, because she's going down the aisle and there's a mother who is traveling with her like 3-year-old and baby or something like that. And the mom is saying, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And yet she tells her that one of her children is going to die young. And that really just like messed with my brain. And yeah, this book was scary, because personally, I would not want to know. For myself, I would not want to know. But for my kids especially, absolutely not. And so like this book, I feel like I didn't enjoy it very much, but because it really impacted me. And so I read at a different time. I'm not sure. We also get a lot of the like older lady's backstory, and she is the daughter of a psychic kind of person. And so she may or may not, like the whole time we're questioning, does she have psychic abilities, or is this just is she just off her rocker? What is going on? And the ending is, some people love the ending. I thought it was just okay. Like, it was kind of anticlimactic. And I feel like, yeah, this just went really broad, and the event itself really impacted me, but the stories inside, like, I don't feel like this needs to be 500 pages. We got kind of lost in the weeds on a lot of different people's stories. So I would say this is probably a 3-star for me. Not great, but if it sounds interesting and you're in a place where you can handle that, like, I think it's just wrong book, wrong time for me, because I love, like, The Measure is one of my favorite books, but then you're given the choice if you want to pick, if you want to know when you're going to die. This one felt very, like, scary, just scary that you could get bombarded with that information, especially about your kids. So fair warning. Then I went to light and fluffy. We've got Christmas in Icicle Falls by Sheila Roberts. So this is number like 10 or 11. Look at this cover though. In the Life in Icicle Falls series. And I have read sporadic ones. I have not read the series in order. And I was considering just unhauling this, because if I'm not going to own the whole series, what's the point in owning a couple, even though they're companion books? And so that's why I have not unhauled it. And I'm so glad I didn't, because I really like this book. So this book follows a lot of people. So, because like I said, it's like 10 or 11 in the series. And I didn't feel like I missed out on this story, given that I haven't read all the way up until then, but I wish I would have read all the way up until then, because we see a lot of characters. It's not confusing, but I did want to know more of how people relate, what's their history, all that kind of stuff. But this book mainly follows Muriel and Sienna. So Sienna is a single mom to a 9-year-old boy, and she is just trying to bring out the best in her grouchy neighbor, trying to make ends meet, trying to be festive, trying to be a good person. And she's reading one of Mariel's books. Mariel is an older lady who writes kind of self-helpy books about like how to be kind at Christmas. And so Sienna is putting that into practice with her grouchy neighbor, and she meets her grouchy neighbor's nephew, and there's a little bit of a romance there. It's sweet. It's cute. And then Muriel also has this guy who, I mean, we're talking, I don't know how old these are, 60s, 70s. I don't know. She's got this guy that has been interested in her forever and just kind of follows her around like a puppy, is the best friend for her. And he says like, hey, I have these tickets to go on a cruise for or to go to Germany for Christmas. Do you want to come? And she's like, no, because she doesn't want to give him the wrong idea. And so he says, okay. And somebody else, another woman, a kind of an aggressive woman, jumps in and says, I'll go. And so she ends up dealing with some jealousy, and we explore that relationship. And I thought that was a fun dynamic shift. And I immediately put, like, I have one or two more of the Icicle Falls books on my shelf. I put them on hold at the library for the audio copy because I really want to stay immersed with these characters in this world. I really enjoyed it. Then I didn't realize at the time, but another Sheila Roberts, One Charmed Christmas. So this one I did not like as well. I think this is just a standalone, but this is about Catherine, and she is a single woman because she has been widowed, I think. Or maybe they're just divorced. I can't remember what I wrote in my review of this, because I honestly read this at the very beginning of the week, and I said, this is entertaining enough, but forgettable. And it really is. So this is about a group of people, including Catherine, who go on a cruise, and it's 4 different sets of people. So it's Catherine and her best friend. Her friend's like, come on, let's go get you out of the house for Christmas. They go on a cruise. There's sisters, there's brothers, and then there is a father-daughter duo. And it's all of these people on the cruise. They become friends on the cruise, and we follow mostly their time on the cruise, but we also get some of their lives after, how they all intersect. I thought this was a little cheesy and convenient because, like, they all instantly become friends, like, in the dining hall or something, and their lives become very intertwined. And then this one also did not feel overly Christmassy. Honestly, neither of these felt super Christmassy. This Icicle Falls one slightly more, but this one really didn't. Because there's not a ton of Christmas on the cruise, and then it spans a larger period of time. So this one was just okay. I'm still going to keep it on my shelves, but it was not as good. So yeah, so where I'm at now is that, like, Here One Moment, and then I also read a Vlogmas book that you will see coming towards the end, like closer to Christmas Eve, kind of simultaneously or near the same time, that also kind of impacted me in my mental health and my anxiety, just in this hormonal craze that I'm in right now. So because of that, I feel like I'm struggling with focus and just struggling with the anxiety. And so just kind of taking it slower, taking it easy. And yeah, so that is everything that I read in the last week. What did you read? Let me know your favorite thing, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.